Warning, the following contains material that may be too disturbing to some people. Descriptions of violence, mature situations, and adult themes. This is intended for mature audiences. Your discretion is advised. Welcome. We are live. Welcome. Howdy, folks. Welcome to Forest of Flesh, episode 97, where we are playing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. How is everybody doing this week? We had a marriage happen. Everybody give a big congrats.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's been, I feel like we missed a couple weeks. There's been trips going on. There's been a lot of craziness. Everybody's busy. I hope you're all doing awesome. So what do we do? Oh yeah, let's go ahead and go around the table and have everyone introduce themselves. You can tell us a little bit about what you've been up to, maybe what's going on in game, what's going on with your character. We'll start with you, Ferdy. How's it going?
Good. I'm Ferdy. I'm playing Abe Flo, twin dwarves who are now a changeling in heaven. What were they up to? They tried to make Lucero see that golden slime inside the closet one last time we played.
Yes.
Lucero didn't open. Check it though.
Yes, you tried to start a combat with a mysterious golden slime.
Ooze being.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, you didn't get hurt. Nobody got hurt, including the slime, which is good.
Didn't someone get hurt?
Yeah, somebody got hurt.
Did they? Yeah, I guess
Yes.
that's true. Somebody did lose some HP last time. I think I recall that.
Yep.
But okay, cool. Well, we will see if you guys can survive the party today. Thank you,
We
Ferdy.
can't, no.
Up next, we got Mori, who's playing Lucero for you today. Mori, what's going on?
I'm Lucero, the wizard. As far as everybody's aware, I'm human.
As far as everybody's aware. Oh, interesting.
You know this.
Technically, the whole party knows, but
right on.
The whole party knows, just not the whole party knows.
Right.
Okay.
From the way you've been talking, I believe one of our guests knows as well. I was attempted to be fed as slime food, yes. I also had a run-in with the bodyguard because he had a not-so-fun vision about me.
Oh, yeah.
Which was very fun. Almost didn't let me into the party.
Yeah.
Well, what's his name again?
Did you take notes?
Not yet.
I think it was Pari or something.
Let me check.
May or may not have made the guest of honor think the food was poisoned.
No, that was definitely a may have.
Not intentionally, but...
And you had somebody making moves on you, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, and Lucero's been hiding behind Candor because of that.
Yeah, fair enough. Well,
I am merely caught in the crossfire.
Thank you, Mori. Speaking of making moves, up next we've got Kyo, who plays Quartz. Kyo, how's it going?
Thanks, Quartz, by the way.
Hey, she liked you. She's just Quartz is very much an enabler, and you know. Well, I play Quartz. She's an Earth Genasi bard, and right now she is catching up with her big brother Baba. Or sorry, Raifa, who's one of the what are they called again? The Bodhisattvas, yes. And she just told him about what message that Candor told her about the fool.
I think Candor also finally got that note off of his person, so it's no longer his issue.
No, we took it back.
Right.
Because you guys said we needed it, so.
Maybe it'll come in handy, or something, or maybe just nobody wants it.
That's probably our luck.
Nobody wants.
Oh, I'm sure I can foist it off on someone.
Or we could do the.
I almost made you keep it.
Yeah. Oh, no, you wouldn't want to give it to Lucero because Lucero would wad it up, light it on fire, and just be like, it must have gotten lost in the paperwork somewhere.
Well, then it wouldn't be my responsibility anyway, so.
I mean, there's plenty of important.
You'd have to do the paperwork.
So...
Lucero do paperwork.
All right. Well, thank you, Kyo. Up next, we have Wolfrin, who's playing Myrkrið for you guys. Wolfrin, what's going on? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I am playing Myrkrið, the elven emissary of Tulpa, the Great or something. I forget what the honorary we ended up giving him. I don't know what to say about Tulpa yet. He has just been vibed against his will, sent to a place he knows nothing about, filled with creatures he knows nothing about, and told to do something he's not skilled to do. So,
typical Tuesday.
He's just wandering around this structure and kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Things can't go well.
At least some of the people are friendly.
Yeah.
I don't think he's met any yet.
Hey!
We're definitely continuing our theme of people being like out of place, thrust into a role that they may not have any desire to fill. A calling of something beyond them, beyond their own circumstance, their own ability. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that going on. And for you, it's almost like this place, your initial first impression was that it was outright hostile to you. The land itself did not like you. Yeah.
Not a fan.
So I imagine your perspective, Myrkrið in particular, would be unique from everyone else in heaven. You might be the only one who doesn't see it as a paradise, as it is, which is
not so much, yeah,
kind of interesting. Cool. So yeah, you're wandering around this party, bunch of obnoxious talking people, loud. They care about strange things. They don't have to worry for their daily survival, their daily struggle against horrors beyond their comprehension. Yeah, they have it they're almost too comfortable here, it seems like. Although there is a hint of disagreement and resentment between some of the various factions bubbling just under the surface. But yeah, cool. Thank you, Wolfrin. Up next, we have Zach, aka Wolfie, who is playing Candor.
That's right.
Zach, what's going on? How you doing?
Talk about people out of place. Candor.
Yes.
He is having not a lot of fun here. It's a party, and he was technically not invited.
Yeah.
I'm technically not crashing, but only because I'm Luce's +1.
Yeah. But you do have important news.
Oh, I've got some interesting news. Yeah.
Yeah. Which we'll see. We'll see how party crashing goes for you. That's right. Candor is in the house tonight. All right. Anything else, Candor?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
All right, no worries. So
that didn't sound good.
I will pull you guys back over to the map here. And it's been a couple weeks, so remind me, you guys had stepped away with Rifa to talk in private, I think. Myrkrið is mingling? Is that the right word? I don't think that's the right word.
Myrkrið has run away.
He yeeted himself, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being unentangled.
He just said, "I'm out, peace."
Fair enough. Myrkrið, feel free to continue to wander if you have any questions, like things you want to interact with while they're talking. Go ahead. Just feel free to send me a DM or write something in the chat. Etc. We may jump to you at some point. Everyone else, you stepped away with Rifa. I think you guys try to find a private room where you could kind of talk in private. What are you talking about? What's going on?
Candor was showing the message he had gotten.
Prayer request, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
Sam, I can't see anything. It's just black screen for me.
We can only see what's in the room. If you zoom out a little bit.
I can't see anything at all.
Yeah, that was happening last time too, remember?
I didn't touch anything. Why would it mess up between sessions?
Well, maybe
it was messing up between like areas last time, so I mean,
let me just refresh.
Yeah, we'll see if that helps first.
You've got the night visions. The audience,
Well, that shouldn't matter.
the audience can see.
Well, it was messing up for just random people last time, so.
Here, I will just turn off dynamic lighting for this map, I guess. I kind of need to keep it on, though, is the thing.
No, keep it on. We'll
keep it
figure
on.
something. Because, yeah, that'll let us see everything, which is not what you want.
No.
Okay, I can see it now.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Uberma's in the room here, and you guys were discussing the letter about the fool, the resurrection thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We jump back in, and oh yeah, that's right. You had this guy who's like a rep for the fool, and he was sort of helping fill in.
Tixa.
Yeah, Tixa. That's right. Fill in the gaps a little bit.
Tixa doesn't speak out loud.
Yeah.
Well, they did last time.
They never did to you, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they didn't to me, but I think they did afterwards.
Don't remember.
Don't remember what? Sorry.
I don't remember if they spoke to anybody out loud. I thought it was all mental.
Oh, no, mental. Yes, it was mental. I
Yeah.
just never got talked to mentally either.
Yeah.
Yes, and he had that companion with him who was getting a little disorderly, you might say. A literal jester.
It's a little disorderly.
Yeah.
Little disorderly conduct's never hurt anybody.
Fair enough.
Unless we keep it a little.
So as you all are sitting here, we jump back in. Rife, we get like the previously, we kind of get it caught up on like where about you guys were in the conversation. And we fade back in and Rife says something about this doesn't bode well. Bad omen, I think. And when he says that, like right on cue, there's a loud clap of thunder, a flash in the room, and appearing in the corner is a familiar face. Maybe
Oh
not.
God, it's a thing.
Maybe not to anyone here except for Abe and Flo. Nurnum appears nearby. He wears fine silk robe in black and white with the symbol of the tower upon it, white rice hat. And the room fills with the smell of ozone. And he takes a step towards the group and says, reckon I'm not too late for the party?
Oh, hi. Were you always there, or is that just a thing that happens?
Just a thing that happens.
Ah, I see. You know, if we weren't in heaven, I'd say you'd give us a heart attack, but, you know.
He kind of grins at that. And Rife sort of turns to him and kind of sneers. And he says, Nurnham, you're late. Something keeping you busy. More important matters to attend to. And Nurnham like moves towards the nearby seat and kind of like pulls a stool out and sits down. And he says, Rifa, there's always important matters to attend to. Armies to destroy. Betrayers to seek out. And they sort of like exchange like glances, not friendly glances. As Nurnham sits down, he looks over towards Abe and Flo for a second, like making sure you're here, kind of. And then he like crosses his hands in front of him, and he says, "Well, don't let me interrupt."
I mean, you kind of did.
Yeah, he ignores you. He like reaches into his robes. He pulls out like a wooden pipe. And he knocks it on the table loudly. As some like ash comes out of it. And then he like starts digging in it with one of his fingers. Rifa just like stares at him like he's the most annoying thing.
Quartz is gonna be like, oh, so, well, I know Nirnham, but Candor, who's that one that you brought in with you? And she points to Abe's and Flo, because she hasn't met them yet.
Oh, that one? Oh, I have no idea.
Why did you bring them in? I mean, I suppose it is a party. And I guess Quartz is gonna go over there and introduce herself. Hello, my name's Quartz, and what is your name?
You're just call me the diviner. I was invited by Nurnham for this party.
The diviner.
Rifa cocks an eyebrow towards Nurnum.
And what is it that you divine?
Just some fortunes. You're new to heaven.
Okay, well, welcome to heaven, I suppose. Have you had a chance to grab some food, meet lots of new people?
I met Lucero over here.
Oh, that's nice. I'm glad you guys have become friends already.
We didn't call them friends. Just more acquaintances.
How did you meet?
Lucero showed me where the powder room is.
And then they ever so kindly led me to a godblood slime.
Who now? What?
Nurnum says, "Oh, you found him already, then." Bit of a...
What is that thing?
He goes, bit of a recluse, that one. I invited him.
How does one invite a slime?
He like finishes putting more tobacco in his pipe. And he holds it up to his mouth. And it just sort of lights with like a spark. And he takes a deep breath in. And then when he exhales, tobacco smoke comes out, and he says, well, it's a bit more than that, isn't it?
You know, I'm really starting to not like you.
Candor.
Rifa says he has that effect on people.
Like supernaturally, or is this just a personality thing?
Bodhisattva for the tower.
Huh.
The tower does work nobody else wants to do.
You don't do any work.
Fair enough. But I wouldn't want to do the work the tower does either.
I mean, neither would I.
Nurnum kind of like, he's like holding the pipe in one hand, and he kind of like nods in agreement. Like, yeah, that's kind of right.
I have respect for what the tower does.
Well, I suppose back to the task at hand. Tixa, You said you had something to discuss? Something about it not being safe?
You hear in your mind. Yes, there is an issue with something is wrong with the Arcana. And then Nurnham chimes in and he says out loud, "The fool is dead."
Well, I mean, that's kind of a given if it's, asking for survival.
Lucero is going to put their hands together, like tapping their fingers. Is looking down at the table, so that way they're not looking at any of the Bodhisattva, and go, "And when was this going to be announced?"
And how did it happen?
Tixa says, well, we're not, like, in your mind, we're not in charge of announcing. We've been stripped of our duties.
Oh, no, Tixa, this wasn't a question for you.
Rifa, like, looks at Nurnham, like, expectantly. Like, are you going to answer that? And Nurnham says, well, I think I just did.
So I repeat, how did that happen? When did that happen?
Who
Well,
did it?
he left heaven long ago. If he was killed, he would have been returned to the wheel, reincarnated like so many times before. But something else must have happened. Something to remove him from the wheel.
Necromancy, perhaps?
He shrugs.
Is it common knowledge that the fool left long ago?
I mean, yeah. I would say so.
Okay.
His Bodhisattva was killed. Like, that would definitely be found out pretty quick. So yeah, but like when he wasn't showing up to meetings and no one had heard of him for a while. Yeah, I would say it'd be common knowledge. Like, the fool is never outright kicked out or like not made a part of the heavenly order, but the Bodhisattva was killed in heaven by Death's people because they had suspected the fool of being a traitor. But it was a frame job. It was just never really discovered that it was a frame. He's just sort of been on the run. There's never been any answers as to what really happened.
Right. I was just wondering if it was like common, like if an announcement was made, or like do the normal people in heaven know what was up?
This would have been like a long time ago.
Right.
It's a case where even if they didn't make the announcement, the rumors would have gone around.
Right. Well, so if the fool was killed, what does that mean? That means there's an open spot. Is there a replacement?
Nurnham shrugs. None that I have heard of. It leaves the rest of us more vulnerable. And Rifa says, Nurnham, why do you seem so content with this? And Nurnham just kind of grins. And then Rifa says, I'm sorry, were you invited?
Does that really matter at this point?
He didn't.
Lucero's going to look at Quartz and go, will you please get your brother under control?
Yeah, like Rifa kind of like straightens his collar and like stretches his neck back and forth. And he says, you didn't check in with the man at the door. And Nurnham doesn't say anything. He just kind of like smirks. Takes another drag off of his pipe.
Sorry, Lucero. I can't control what Rifa does, but he does have a point. I don't understand why Nurnham didn't go through the front door in the first place.
That's not my issue.
I wouldn't be allowed in, says Nurnham.
And at that, Lucero's going to point at Nurnham. That is my issue.
What?
Not you yourself, sir.
The fact that people wouldn't be left in?
The fact that there is a bias against a Arcana simply because of the Arcana they are.
He shakes his head. Nurnham does, and he says, "Don't blame him. I'm bad luck. That's why I asked this one to be here." He points to Abe.
Me?
Bad luck is better than no luck.
He says, I hoped this one could balance out my karma.
And how is that working?
Rifa like smirks or like snorts at this, like like it's the most ridiculous thing he's ever heard. And he says, you think what? A few good luck charms is enough to undo that? Nurnham, destruction follows you everywhere you go. Or have you forgotten? And Nurnham like stands up and gestures towards Abe and says, not just any good luck charm. This is one of the luckiest creatures in existence. Don't you know, Rifa? And he kind of like seems to consider what Nurnham is saying for a moment. And then he looks at Abe. And Nurnham takes like a step towards the table. And he says, you could hardly tell by looking. But this creature, no offense, would be considered an abomination under any other circumstance.
Nurnham, they have a name.
Yeah, he says, forgive me, Abe and Flo. And Rifa seems to like understand now. Like he puts a hand up over his mouth, like he's considering his words. And Nurnham says, 2 souls melded together still allowed entry into heaven. That is unique, don't you think?
How did he find out?
What do you mean by 2 souls?
Nirnham looks towards Abe and Flo and says, would you like to explain?
Okay, I guess the jig is up. I guess and then they're gonna cast mirror image, and then it will show like duplicates. You will see like a duplicate of the changeling form. Another one with just Ebelona, the female one, and then turns into, and another one with Florentine, the guy. So you see 3 illusion.
Here. I have them. If I can get them to come off of the GM layer.
Never.
Why is resizing tokens has become very not easier intuitive like it used to be? There you go.
I blame global warming.
Do they just appear in the do they just appear in the room for a second, or
How does this spell work?
It goes for a minute.
it goes for a minute?
Yeah.
So you see these duplicates appear like beside you.
Mm-hmm.
And Nurnham nods. And he says, I was hoping it would offset any bad luck I might bring, or at least a part of it. And Rife just shakes his head. And he says, I'm not convinced that there is anything that can offset a bad omen. It's almost like he almost seems right, like Uberma is chill, like he's just sitting there watching this sort of happen, like taking it all in. He doesn't seem uncomfortable with Nurnham really at all. Rifa, however, almost seems like he's ready to fight Nurnham at the drop of a hat. Like he's almost like ready for this to come to blows any minute. Nurnham seems comfortable. Like he doesn't seem tense really. Yeah, he's just kind of matter of fact.
Can I insight check Rifa?
Sure. Okay, what are you trying to pick up on?
Quartz is gonna go over to him. She's gonna put a hand on his shoulder and she's gonna go, brother, you should calm down. Do you want a drink? I can go get you a drink. And she's actually gonna look over to everyone else. Does anyone else want a drink? Or are you guys all good?
Oh, sorry, I don't drink. Although if you have anything, non-alcoholic, I'd take something.
What do you want? What's your favorite, dear?
Juice? I'm sure they have some kind of
Lemon,
juice.
orange, apple, mango, coconut.
Goodness, so many
Guava.
choices. Apple, I suppose.
Sure. Anyone else? Nurnham? Tixa?
Tixa asks for a raw egg in a cup.
Interesting choice.
Nurnum doesn't ask
can get
for
you that.
anything.
All right. Quartz is gonna get all the orders and then head to the kitchen to see if she can get all the stuff.
Rifa seems to like try to calm himself a bit. And he says, well, what do you have for us then? No. You mentioned you knew this slime creature. And Nurnham says, yes, a diviner like this one. He points to Abe. Should I get rid of the other tokens, Ferdy?
They're underneath my thing.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably been a minute now.
Yeah. There we go. Huh. So that thing was a diviner.
How do we understand it?
He says, it communicates through changing its form, making shapes.
Oh.
It's quite the powerful one, you see. He takes a drag off of his pipe again, and he says, long ago, the swords, coins, were at each other's throats. Swords and coins always at each other's throats. The swords had heard that the wands were going to join coins to help them. Bit of misinformation on the part of the Court of Coins. Swords did what they do best. They struck out at them before they could be hit first. The wands, who had managed to stay out of most conflicts, struck back. Created what is known as the Wastes. Raifa kind of nods, like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Nurnham says, I was there, you see. Drawn to it. Like any vastly destructive event. The wands cast a spell the world had never seen before. A destructive spell so powerful that the Arcana in the sky watching the battle was scarred by it, wounded. That was the first time we'd seen an Arcana bleed. The star was wounded. Somewhat, I suppose. Changed form, then. piece of it landed in the battlefield below. Another piece splintered off here in heaven. This slime you speak of is that piece. Another was later discovered by a monk following the world. He was looking for a weapon, something to stem the tide against the flesh. They called it the Silence then, one of its previous incursions onto the world. Once discovering that this orb for the star wasn't the weapon that would change the tide of the fight, knowing that everything we were throwing at the flesh was failing, he hid it away in an old ruin. The piece of the star I had meet us here, like I said, a recluse. It's born from something full of hope and optimism, but was also something wounded by man's own hate, need for violence. It's gifted with great foresight. I'm hoping to get some information from it. Find out what is to come to pass here in heaven. It's no secret that unrest is brewing. That's where I've been, Rifo. There's like a pause. He like looks at Rifo like, are you gonna ask anything? Before like seemingly losing his patience and just continuing it anyways. And he says, recently we've learned Arcana can not only bleed, but can be killed.
Well, that seems like a rather interesting discovery.
Yeah, he nods. And he says, only those foolish enough to leave heaven. We rooted out traitors in our midst, death being one of them. There may yet be others. But this new death is different, Seraphina. A different symbol, a twist on what death means.
I mean, isn't that what everyone is? A twist on their particular Arcana?
He nods in agreement. He says, each Arcana is a powerful symbol, a force in the world. Deaths has changed. It will have an impact, surely. A positive one, I think. Rife says, I know where you're going with this. And then Quartz walks back in. Everyone like stops and looks over at Quartz.
So I had everyone's orders. And she goes around the table, giving everyone what they asked for. So what did I miss?
So apparently the Arcana can be injured and die. And the slime upstairs came from a wound from one of them. And now I can tell the future.
Oh really? Which Arcana?
That's a good question.
He mentioned it was the star.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. I heard someone else. It was the star, I guess.
Well, did you learn anything more about what happened to the fool? What our plan attack is, or what we're doing about it?
No. I feel like we were just getting there.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it happens.
Continue.
Nurnham says, I have to imagine whatever happened to the fool was his own doing.
I mean, it's kind of right there in the name.
Quartz, make an insight check.
Only Quartz?
I guess anybody else can if they want to. This is against Nurnham. So
I would like to.
You're going to need to roll
Me
pretty
too.
high. Yeah, go ahead.
Joke's on you, I have high. Oh, no, wait. No, I think I'm supposed to say no. Joke's on you, I am high. No, wait.
Lucero.
Come on. Load. Load. There we go. Don't know why I decided to get rid of my thingy. Insight.
Lucero's still distracted by Rifa being salty.
Candor and Quartz. He's not being completely honest. He's definitely hiding something.
Nurnham is?
Yeah. Something about the fool that he's not saying. He's not telling you everything.
And how does Tixa look?
Concerned.
Well then, so Tixa dear, so what have you been doing then without your Arcana? What's happening with the fool's followers?
Tixa responds, they're packing up, preparing to leave.
And leave for where?
He shrugs. Don't know. Perhaps the world? Or
Do
to find another suited for the job.
they know about the situation?
There are rumors. Because of
But
what
no
happened.
confirmation.
He nods. Because of what happened with death. Judgment. Everyone is expecting it now. That they know it's possible. Everyone is afraid. Strange to see followers of the fool in a state of fear.
Well, if you guys are looking for some place to stay, you're always welcome at the Heart's Desire. But
I don't think the Heart's Desire can house everybody from a whole Arcana, though.
Well, I'm sure not all of them want to come, but whoever wants to is welcome. But what are you guys so afraid of? Are you afraid of other Arcana? Or are you afraid of something else?
We're afraid that if a new symbol is selected, as Nurnham put it, a new meaning, that it will change, that the same thing will happen to us as the former Death's loyalists. That's what Nirnham meant when he said that's where he's been. Isn't it, Nirnham? Nirnham nods, and he turns and takes a look at Uberma. And he says, yes, we've been fighting.
Fighting?
Death's old loyalists. They don't want to leave willingly. We've scattered.
Leave? Why would they need to leave?
They will not bow to Seraphina.
Well, that seems rather dumb.
Some have. But this traitor, Death, brought in many souls not fit for heaven before it was ousted. Some abominations, monsters, souls much too heavy for this realm. They seek to continue the conflict, usurp the new Death.
Can the new Death not simply revoke their stay?
Yeah, he nods. It was done. Brought them into the world. He nods towards Uberma, and he says, we've been slaying them, hunting them down where we can. They've landed in strange places, not all in one location. There was a fishing village. That should, for our old players, that should be like, oh, that village full of zombies.
How long was the old Death supposedly doing this?
Nurnham shrugs, and he says, don't know. Official agreement was met rather recently before its disposal, I would guess. But it's possible it was planning for this for some time. If there's one thing Arcana are good at, it's planning.
A long game.
He nods.
They do have the longest.
He says, join Flesh, too. They've been moving through different times. They, like I said, didn't pop up all in the same place. I think it has something to do with it joining the Flesh before it was killed. Some ripple in reality. That's what the Flesh consumes, feeds on. Those voids it opens. He says, so we've been wiping them out where we can, or sending others where we can't. Can't let them get a foothold, place to gather their forces. And Seraphina is the real deal, I think. A move in the right direction for the Arcana. Raifa looks at Nurnham like he's got 3 heads, and he says, "Did you just compliment an Arcana that wasn't the tower?" And Nurnham doesn't, he just ignores him.
Question. So, if you are so worried about, the problem with death and the problem with the fool, I guess, in this particular instance, I don't see why there should be similar concerns, I suppose, unless you also suspect the fool of bringing in people unworthy.
Nurnham shakes his head. He says, our concern with the fool is an open seat. There's not someone on the throne. We're all weaker for it. The order requires a specific number of Arcana. We are now missing 2.
So can that not be simply filled out from the numbers of the fool itself?
Also, hasn't that seat been open for a while now?
Yeah, Nurnham nods. And he says, we're starting to feel the effects. And
you're starting to feel the effects, or you're starting to come into situations where the effects are noticed?
He points to you like that.
Oh. So there's something else going on.
It's not so simple as just selecting another. They have to rise to a call. We don't pick who the next Arcana is, neither does anyone in the Fool. It has to be a certain symbol. They have to meet a certain guideline, and it's not always clear.
Destiny's choice.
Yeah, Nurnham nods. Yes, that's the words I was looking for.
All right. Well, it seems like we have a few people in here that can try and unearth what destiny will choose.
Well, isn't there a much simpler way to fix this? Candor, didn't you say someone is trying to revive the fool? Can't we just revive him?
Well, if his soul's no longer in the wheel, I don't know if that's necessarily going to work.
I believe the name was Melora or something along the lines.
Yeah, Nurnham's face twitches.
I mean, it's been a long time, but I remember reading books down on the material plane about alchemy or necromancy. I kind of know how it works, but not really.
Yeah, I have no experience. Sorry there.
I mean, I think even with the fuck.
I'm sure someone in heaven knows of a way to do it. I mean, this is one of the biggest, most important things that have happened in recent times. Why aren't we all working together to try to fix it?
If the full spirit hasn't returned to the wheel, something is keeping it trapped somewhere.
Or it's gone.
Yeah.
Rife,
Which means if it's destroyed, anything.
We're out of luck.
Yeah. Nothing's bringing that back.
Rife is like staring daggers at Nurnham. And he just says like kind of like with a monotone voice. He's just like, Melora, that name sounds familiar.
Insight check.
Yeah.
Lucero's gonna look at Rifa and go, friend of yours?
He's just like staring at Nurnham. Like he clearly heard what you said. I don't think that's high enough for the insight, no, fortunately.
Can I do a history check to see if I know the name Alora?
Sure.
May I thigh-bolstered knack?
Do it. What does that explain and do?
Can I do an insight check real quick?
Sure, yeah. You fail an ability
I
check.
don't think it's high enough.
You can roll a d8 and add the number to the total, okay? Do that.
4. Would a 21 succeed?
Yeah, 21 would succeed. A 20 is what you needed.
Okay. I'm taking one psionic energy die off.
Okay. So, Quartz. Melora was daughter of what was his name? Primordial water deity. You know who Melora is, basically. You know the history. Not associated with heaven necessarily. Also not on like their enemies list, but her dad was. Dad was not a good guy. Very evil, very eldritch, evil deity. Fought heaven. Was basically put to sleep, like locked away, something like that. And Melora was his daughter, also like a piece of himself, that was not hunted down. Okay. Insight check. Nurnham knows Melora. So does Rifa. But clearly he's saying Nurnham knew her more, like worked with her, perhaps. Rifa is on to Nurnham too. Rifa picked up on the fact that Nurnham was hiding something. And is waiting for the right time to really call him out. Like waiting for the Rife is being very strategic with the conversation. He's not just like calling him out on each individual bullshit thing. He's waiting for all the bullshit things to stack up like a tower so he can knock it down. Right?
Ooh. I'd like to assist when this happens.
Sure.
Wait, so Melora, what does a primordial want to have to do with the fool?
She knew him, didn't she, Nurnham? Says Rifa. And Nurnham just like looks at him like, really? We're gonna do this now? Rifa says, you were working with them. the Fool, Melora, that group, and 5 rings. I came into your inn. We had a discussion about plans. And Nurnham...
I'm just sipping my apple juice over here.
Yeah, Nurnham nods. And Rifa says, what happened to him, Nurnham? You send him off to get killed doing your work. And Nurnham shakes his head. And he says, No, I didn't send him off to get killed. It was a decision he had to make. And Rifa says, but you knew he was going to make it. And Nurnham says, I hoped he would have chosen more wisely when the time came.
Right, because the Fool is very known for wise decisions.
He seemed like...
I think that was sarcasm.
He seemed like he had learned.
Would they not then become not the Fool?
Nurnham shrugs and he says, I'm not sure he knew who he was.
But if you knew who he was, and you knew what would happen if the Arcana died, why didn't you protect him?
Forbidden from going to the Feywild.
The Feywild? What does that place have anything to do with this? I thought they were in the world.
He says, they had taken it. They had wiped everything out there. And they were going to use it to launch an attack on the world. It had already started. They, including Aurelius, he says to Rifa, launched an attack in 5 rings. We barely managed to stop it. We had to get on the aggressive. We couldn't play defense forever. It must have worked. Perhaps a little too well. Maybe he found a way to have his soul hang on, not return to the wheel. Don't know why. Maybe it had something to do with his connection to Melora. If she's still alive and she's trying to resurrect him, what was the spell?
True resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
True resurrection. Let's take a look at that spell. Nurnham would know. You touch a creature that has been dead for no longer than 200 years and that died for any reason except the old age. If the creature's soul is free and willing, the creature is restored to life with all its hit points. The spell closes all wounds, neutralizes any poison, cures all diseases, and lifts any curses affecting the creature when it died. The spell replaces damaged or missing organs and limbs. The spell can even provide a new body if the original no longer exists, in which case you must speak the creature's name. The creature then appears in unoccupied space you choose within 10 feet of you. So you don't need a body. But you do have to touch the creature, which is weird. I don't know how you touch a creature that doesn't have, if there's no body.
Maybe a
Well, if you
potion.
don't touch the creature, then you have to say its name.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
If it no longer exists, you must speak the creature's name.
Yeah, okay. If the creature's soul is free and willing would be the keywords there, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Nurnham says, there must be something in the way, something preventing it. I don't know what it would be. He left in the Feywild. If there are remains, they would be there. I can't go find them.
Well,
And my concern is that we don't have time. But perhaps this diviner can tell us the best course of action.
or one of them at least.
Well, wasn't there a request for the spell to go through? Can't we just hand it off to someone who can approve it?
Well, if we approve it now, we risk that it gets wasted. Because if the soul isn't free and willing to come back, then it's gone. And yeah, we won't likely have another for a while.
We don't exactly have an Arcana for Melora. She doesn't serve any of them.
But then how did the request even come to heaven then?
Prayer. If she was desperate enough.
The question is she still in the Feywild or is she back here?
Or if it's even her.
Well, now you're saying that this could be a forgery, in which case...
That's a whole new problem.
Yes.
I have reason to believe she died as well.
Well, does that mean we can't approve the prayer request?
Then the question would be, what are we reviving if we approve it?
But we would revive the target, I assume. Bureaucratically speaking, it has a specified target, so that should be the target of the resurrection.
Just because that's the target on paper doesn't mean that's the exact target.
Rifa says, you've been involved in every death of an Arcana so far. Every even destruction, wound taken by an Arcana, you've been there. Nurnham. And Nurnham nods. And he says, I was there just before death fell and watched as the same happened to Judgment. Yes, I was there when the star bled in the sky. And perhaps I was involved with what has happened to the fool in getting him to the Feywild. Yes, what is your point? And Rifa says, are you killing Arcana? And there's like this long pause. And Nurnham says, I'm making choices that have to be made. If the tower asked me to, I would gladly. But no.
Has the tower asked you?
He pauses
He's still
for a
here,
moment.
isn't he?
He like pauses for a moment and considers. And he says, the towers asked that I kill traitors. So far as I know, only death and judgment were traitors. But perhaps there are more.
And who gets to define those as traitors?
He says, the tower's judgment is absolute. Flesh.
Funny, I think that would go to judgment.
Yeah, he pauses and he says, judgment is dead too. Killed by death, if I recall. That is why we took death out. Or at least moved on it. In the same...
Does that not mean you are taking up the domain of judgment?
No, my domain is destruction. Slaying the enemies of heaven. And breaking bondage.
Does anyone know what's happening to the followers of judgment? Are they also fleeing, just like the fools?
Judgment situation is different.
Supposedly, there is another. Though they've yet to take the throne. Rifa says, have you been organizing deaths of Arcana you deem traitors? And Nurnham pauses for a moment. And he it's like this tension in the room. Like and he says no.
Insight.
Yeah, make an insight check.
Yeah, I'll do it also.
32
I bolstered
crit
knack.
20.
Oh, okay.
You can roll your bolstered knack if you want.
I'll go ahead just to see if I can get the info myself.
19 is close, but no cigar.
Okay, so I don't use it.
Okay. But with a crit 20, he's telling the truth. Like, he's not outright, oh, thanks for the raid, not quite human. What's up, dude? Oh, sorry. Hey, Otaku. Sorry for the interruption. He says, so he's telling the truth. He's not outright like hunting them down and looking for them. He seems to be telling the truth, and he didn't want the fool to die. And he didn't kill Judgment. Death did. and Death was killed by the group he was working with when Death attacked them. So, he wasn't even there for that. Uberma chimes in and says like vouches for him, I think, too, and says that he didn't kill Death, someone else did when it attacked us. I made sure to get him away safely. And Nurnum says, don't get me wrong, Rifa. We're allies, yes, but we're also adversaries. The Arcana are meant to keep each other in balance, to challenge each other. Some have strayed from their path. Some haven't. But any traitor I would gladly kill. If the tower demanded, I'd even stick my fist into the heart of the devil if it was required.
What if the tower demanded yourself?
He smiles, and he says, that would make me so much happier.
What if the tower was a traitor?
Impossible.
Nothing's impossible.
You don't know him like I do.
No one knows everything about a person.
The tower hasn't changed since it was risen. We
And
haven't.
time breeds corruption.
From what I've heard of the tower, I would be very surprised if tower ends up becoming an enemy of heaven.
At this particular instance, I don't think we can afford to completely discount the possibility, though.
Rifa chimes in and he says, the tower destroys everything. Every plague, every city sieged, every culling, all on the part of the tower. Nurnum nods. And he says, all necessary. Every slave freed was us too. Even if some refuse to throw down their shackles. And he kind of like looks down his nose at Rifa. And Rifa like, he sort of like closes his eyes and shakes his head side to side like he's trying to keep his patience. And he says through like gritted teeth, what? We're the only ones who are free. And Nirnham says, no, you're not free. You're slaves to yourselves. There's nothing worse than a slave that thinks they're free. Nothing more sad. Trust me, I'd know.
All right, well, we've gotten philosophical enough here. What's the plan?
Well, says Nurnham, I'd like to see what this diviner has to say.
Which one?
The one that's sneaking out into the kitchen.
Well, I was thinking of the god's blood, but one at a time, I suppose. The more diviners, the better. Maybe we can root out any more traitors. Whoever it is that's making a move on heaven, stirring unrest, drawing lines. He looks at Rifa. Is it
Stop
you?
that.
I don't know. Is it you?
We'll never get to the bottom of this if you two keep sniping at each other.
Fine. He takes a step towards the door. Should I go get him? Bring them here?
I suppose we could also go there.
It seemed to be pretty protective of that room.
Do you think that would change in a different one?
There it is, says Nurnum, as he just walks out of the room. The people in the kitchen, when they see Nurnum walk in, they're like, oh, they kind of back away from him, like they're kind of afraid of him.
Let's go.
He walks out and towards the room.
When everyone starts shuffling out, Quartz is gonna ask Tixa, Tixa dear, so what is your plan? Are you going to the world? Are you gonna find your own purpose? Do you want to follow us?
Oh, sorry, you're talking to Tixa. Tixa says, well, I suppose I'll enjoy the rest of this party. No sense in letting it go to waste. Keep an eye on my friend. Perhaps make sure he doesn't get into any trouble. Although beyond that, I was preparing to leave, but if maybe finding a new fool is on the table, perhaps I can focus on that.
Maybe your best bet might be to look for this Melora.
Yes, that's a good idea. I suppose I could go to the Sun. Maybe they would have some more information. Do you have any ideas on where I could find more about who this Melora is and where I can locate her?
Can I do a history check to see if I know what place to put her?
Sure.
Or a religion check? I'm not sure.
I'll allow either, and an Arcana check too would also suffice, I think. 29. Either the Sun might have some information. They do keep vaults of information at the Sun. They have libraries, but if it's secret stuff unknown, your best bet is going to be the Moon. Which it sounds like this whole deal with Melora is pretty mysterious. Is she dead? Is she not dead? How is she casting true resurrection? Is it a prayer? What's the deal with all of that? If it's a secret, the moon probably knows.
What's the deal with airline food?
What's the deal with
Um,
airline food?
I'll send her to the moon. Maybe can I see if I know a person from the moon that I can connect her with or give her a name?
Sure. History check. Do you know somebody from the moon? I mean, I think that's a success.
Okay, I guess I'll write the contact information on a piece of paper and then give it to Tixa and let them go on their way.
Yeah, the name you give Tixa is Gidege. I think is how it's pronounced. Gidege.
Gidege.
Yeah.
Moon contact. Okay. All right. I hope you find what you're looking for. Good luck to you.
Yeah, Tixa nods, says thank you. And moves to recover their friend who is drunk.
Hammered?
Yeah, very drunk.
When Tixa leaves, Quartz is gonna look to Raifa and Uberma and ask Raifa, so should we be worried? Is there something we can do to put ourselves in a better position, brother?
He does seem troubled, clearly. And he says, there's always reason to be worried. Put ourselves in a better position. Perhaps we're not traitors, so I don't think we have anything to worry about. But if Nurnham gets carried away, well, to put it this way, I wouldn't be able to stop him.
Then what's your next plan? What are you going to be doing?
For now, I think it's best I witness whatever this diviner has to show us. He mentioned the name Aurelius. I'm not sure who that is. Uberma. Do you know the name? And Uberma shakes his head. No.
All right, well, if you do have a plan, brother, do keep me in the loop, will you?
We'll try.
And then she walks in the direction that the rest of the group went in.
Yeah.
So will you guys be coming?
Yeah, they follow. We'll have everyone catch up in the room where the action is. Nurnum walks in the room, and there's a couple people in there. The door to the closet is closed. Hang on. Okay.
Oh, my Twitch thing died.
Oh.
Sorry, private messages.
You're fine.
Oh, my cam's off. What the heck? also making sure the Twitch is still going. It looks like it is. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so,
it was just my thing.
so Nurnham walks in the room. There's two people seated at a table talking. And he points at them and he says, "Out. We need the room."
That seems rather rude.
Like, yeah,
When
the
you're
one,
at Bodhi Vista, you get to do that.
one of them is looks like kind of like a plague doctor. He's wearing all black robes, and he's got like almost like a kinku mask on, but it looks sort of like a plague doctor mask. And he stands up kind of like aggressively, and when he turns towards Nurnham, and all the aggression from his body leaves. Like once he realizes who's there, the other guy like just gets up and leaves. But they both end up leaving. Yeah. And let me bring these two down here also. Boom. Okay. And everybody makes their way in. Nirnham opens the closet, and
Luce is stepping back from the door.
yeah, it's probably
I was going to say, I don't know anything unless you've told me.
Luce is gonna grab Candor and pull him back from the door.
Okay.
Let's see here. I gotta bring up his thingy-mabobber. Okay. All right. So there it is. So Nurnham opens the door, and everyone make a DC 14 con save. As the creature like steps through the doorway, it pours through the doorway. I mean, it is an ooze, and it pours through the doorway onto the floor. Only if you're within.
It is not a night for me. I'm not the only one who didn't make it.
Yeah, this would only be if you're within 10 feet, which I think pretty much everybody is. So DC was 14. Lucero and Candor fail. You take damage. Kind of fitting. It is 4d6. Let me roll that. Uh, 19 radiant damage. And you're blind. So have fun with being blind for a few seconds, at least.
Does this count as an attack?
It is a bonus action.
Doesn't matter. Does it count as an attack?
I mean, technically there's no attack roll. So perhaps not.
Right.
Let me see. What counts as an attack in 5e? I'm pretty sure you have to have an attack roll. Or you have to take the attack action, yeah.
No.
The most
I
common.
don't think so.
Making an attack. You take the attack action. I guess
That's
there's
slightly annoying.
spell attacks too, right? Like
Yeah.
Firebolt is a spell attack.
Yeah.
but that's an attack
This
because
is
you're
like an
making.
innate ability thing, right?
It's a bonus action, but because it makes you make a save, I don't know if it would technically count as an attack. Why is my
Uncanny dodge.
link uncanny dodge? Let me take a look at it. When an attacker that you can see hits you with an attack. No, it's not an attack. I'm sorry.
Not to mention we're blind, so we can't see.
Afterwards.
I wasn't blind before it
Yeah.
happened.
Now, if I had him make a melee weapon attack against you, which he can do, that would definitely be an attack. Yeah. Here, I'll Google this better just to make sure. Do saves count as an attack in 5e? Each roll that is made, if they had to make an attack roll, then it's an attack. So no attack roll was made. Therefore, if you would have to make a saving throw, then it is an attack. Okay. Okay, yes, it is an attack.
That's why I thought.
That's the rule I was looking for.
Yeah, there'd be some weird rules sometimes.
All right. So you take half damage. Why did I put an X on you? What was I doing there? I'm not sure.
No.
He
Blind.
died.
I was trying to
You
put the
died.
blind token on you, I think.
hmm
Here and
Okay. So I
Lucero.
take half of 19, round
10.
down, right?
Yeah. So it'd be 9. 9 damage. And so from your point of view, the door opens and it's just this really bright light that like sort of seems to push from the door. You don't really see the golden ooze. You just see the heavenly brilliant light that it's emitting. And it burns. Like it burns your skin. And you sort of like instinctively like push back and try to like shield your eyes.
I pull up my cloak.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Okay, actually, you know what? I don't think it's gonna use it right now. It's fine. I could have had everyone make that roll with disadvantage, but it's fine. I'm not gonna do it right now. Okay. So, it steps out, and there's like a moment where Nurnham kind of like shields his eyes. Everybody in the room kind of does for a second. But those who succeed can look at it. And what you see is a golden ooze emitting light. As it pours from the room, from like the closet that it was in, Nurnham says, "Okay, now, old friend, I would like for you to give us a glimpse of what is coming to pass. Any insight on stopping the danger that lurks in heaven?" Oh, we lost somebody for a second. Was it Mori?
Ferdy.
30.
Ferdy? Checking table talking. But no. Wolfrin says it wouldn't be an attack. I don't know. I did the Google thing, and that's what it said. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Hopefully they're not going to get it into actual combat with this thing. All right. It will be doing this every turn, just so you guys know.
Yay.
Every 6 seconds, you guys are going to have to make this save. So, comes out of the room. Everyone gets blinded. Like, a couple people get blinded for a second. Nurnham's like, hey, show us
Oh,
this.
that's a bookshelf.
Only the sun followers get blinded. You know, it kind of figures, doesn't it? Hopefully Ferdy's able to make it back in, because I'm gonna need Ferdy to make some rolls. And yeah, I mean,
you lost some connection, so it'll be on soon.
So can you avert your eyes? So basically, here's the ability: Radiant Flare. Each non-ooze creature within 10 feet of the ooze must succeed on a DC 14 con save or take 46 radiant damage and be blinded until the start of the creature's next turn. So it doesn't give you any option for averting your eyes. It also burns you, so it's not just about seeing it.
Sorry about that.
All good.
So it's just like omnipresent light.
Yeah, it's like a part of the fountain. Like it's burning radiant light. It's a little bit overwhelming. For sure. So yeah, Nurnham asks it to like give us a fortune, basically. And it starts to undulate, like ripple, and move. We got Ferdy back. All right. Now, I need everyone to make the save again. DC 14 con save.
What's the range in that again?
10 feet. Yeah, if you're out of range, you're out of range. So that would be Lucero, Abe Flo, Candor.
Nope.
Holy smokes. This time Rifa holds up a hand and kind of like, as like we see like a bit of smoke coming off of him. Also, Lucero, you're still blind, of course. Candor, you're fine. Everybody else?
Cool.
Oh, that's
I'm
it.
going to move over here and hide.
Yeah.
Like legitimately hide.
All right. Make a stealth check. You're using like the corner of the wall as cover?
Yes, I can because of Skulker.
Okay. Oh, okay. Nice. Abe Flo, I just need a con save.
Oh yeah, and that was actually supposed to be with advantage because I'm wearing the I have the hood up on the Cloak of Elvenkind now.
Oh, okay. Right on.
All right. Can you click on it for me? Cause it's lagging for my end.
no.
I can certainly try. Let me pull up your sheet. As soon as it loads, it's like stuck loading. There it goes.
Yeah, it's alright.
Con save.
Plus 10.
There? Okay, you're fine. Okay. So now it's just Lucero. It's blinded and takes more damage.
Yep.
Here's the damage. 17 radiant damage. And okay, so the form of the creature like ripples, and again we see the image of a humanoid shape starting to form in it. Not just that it shapes a human, but almost like a human seems to rise out of it. And as it does so, it looks something like this. Let me see if I can. Something like this from our previous episode's thumbnail.
Gross.
Yeah, kind of gross. Yeah. And
Thanks, I hate it.
the sort of humanoid form starts to coalesce and take a shape as some of like the rest of the ooze like drips down around it to make room for it. And we see like this shape for a moment, like the shape of a person with a constellation on their back traced out, with like the cover around them. And there's even like the orb sitting in front of them for a second. Then that sort of like ripples and fades back into the rest of the liquid. Then another humanoid form starts to rise out of it. And it is this form. It looks like this. As it's all made of gold. The long hair, the hands. Then he like seems to be staring at Nurnham. And his eyes glowing gold, and he reaches out into the air, and from the air plucks a long golden spear. And quite quickly thrust the spear at Nurnham. Nurnham tries to jump back and get out of the way. Let's see if he does successfully. It is a +7. He does. So this humanoid shape takes this humanoid form takes shape, and this pulls out spear, thrusts it at Nurnham. Nurnham jumps back and gets out of the way. And then the tip of this, like the creature freezes as it thrusts the spear forward, and the tip of the spear starts to drip off of itself and back into the ooze in the shape of these like golden beetles. The beetles, as they drip back down into the ooze, the part of the ooze that they're dripping onto, take the shape of like plants. And like a lotus flower in particular. And as the beetles like land on the lotus flower, they start to eat away at it. And we just like see this lotus flower get eaten away by like this, what becomes, as it moves down the tip of the spear and into the body of this person, what becomes like a swarm of these like golden beetles just chomping away at everything. Then there is like a ripple again through the whole entity as it all like kind of dissolves back into liquid. And another humanoid form starts to rise from the liquid. This time, as it rises from the head first, we see a rice hat, a familiar looking one. It's Nurnham's rice hat. And as it like moves down and he comes out of the liquid, it's like Nurnham looking at himself. But this Nurnham has his hands crossed over his chest. His head is tilted back and his eyes are closed, like in repose, like he's dead. And then there's another ripple as it all like dissolves back into the goo again. then the same thing happens with Uberma and Rifa. Then each of you we'll make a couple more of these saves here. I would say 3 more saves from everybody, and you can decide how much of this you see by how many times you pass or fail. I'll roll for Nurnum and Rifa and Uberma too, or I'm sorry, just Nurnum and Uberma.
And this isn't only 10 feet range?
This is only 10 feet. This is only 10 foot range.
Okay.
This is a flare again. Just while all this stuff is going on. And I'll roll damage because Nurnum fails twice. Uberma fails twice, so they're gonna take the damage twice. And 2 more saves from yeah, I'll just roll damage 3 times, and you can take your damage as appropriate. I'll trust y'all. Low, and low. Pretty low. Anyway. All right. I don't think this thing can really kill any of you. Okay.
Now, but we have somebody who's bloodied.
Yeah, you do, yeah. The ooze kind of dissolves back into a puddle once more after it shows all of you in the room in repose. This is you dead, you die, you die, you die. It sort of retracts itself back into the closet, and Nurnum, holding one arm partly over his eyes, closes the door. And the flare burning all of you stops. And Nurnum says, well, that was strange. That was Aurelius, I think, what it was showing us. The spear. Rifa and Uberma kind of look at each other, and they say, and Rifa goes, "You say that name like we should know it." And Nurnum tilts his head to the side, and he says, "You don't?" And they both sort of shake their head. And that's when we hear a scream. Echo through the mansion. Let's see here. Bum 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 bum. Do you guys want to make perception checks? I don't have a guy screaming sounder for some reason.
Yeah, sure. I'll make a check. Just on the off chance, I'm going to roll a d8. So it'd be a 24 if that would get me above any checks, or if it was already above, then we're fine.
I think you're already above.
Okay.
Okay. Abe, I think you're a little just caught off guard by everything going on with the lights.
Having to deal with all those flashes, yeah.
Yeah, and just all that weirdness, like you don't really hear it. Lucero, you hear it, but it's a bit muffled. So it's hard to gauge like where it's coming from. However, Quartz and Candor, you hear it. It's outside. It's probably outside near the room that you all were having your private conversation in, like somewhere in that area.
In the kitchen.
Yeah. That room that was off to the side of the kitchen. It's outside the building, somewhere in that area.
If I move over here, could I see it?
No.
Okay, making sure.
It's farther up, like on the other side of this room that you can see right here.
Okay. Are these windows solid?
Yeah, I mean they're glass. They're like stained
Okay,
glass.
just making sure they were, fully solid and not like open slightly or anything.
You could probably open them if you wanted to. Like they might have some hinges on them.
No. Could ask somebody to break it for you.
You could just break it, yeah.
No, that would be too much of a loud noise. Let me hold on. I think I have a thing for this.
Why? Okay. This token should not be here.
Are they locked or unlocked?
They're not. They probably would be locked from the inside, actually.
Oh, okay. Darn.
So you could unlock it and then open it.
Yeah, but that means my other thing doesn't work.
Oh. Well, crap. Sorry, I was trying to help you out.
No, see, because I am a tiefling, I get thaumaturgy as a thing, but it only works on unlocked doors or windows to cause them to fly open or slam shut. So I was going to open the one next to me and then open the other one with thaumaturgy, and then I was going to do something cool.
Yeah. Question. First of all, Myrkrið, can you make a perception check too? As you're out wandering around.
Wander.
I assume this is sound based, not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could find the darn button. There we go.
I feel that.
He rolled it in secret, but he did roll it. He got the same as Lucero. So, muffled.
I have advantage.
Oh, you do? You have advantage. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, you definitely know where this is coming from. It's, same thing I was just telling them. The good news is you're pretty close by. I'm gonna put you.
Yeah, I would like to run towards the sound.
Well, feel free to do that.
Okay, I'll open this window. And so you say it's through this room?
Do you see?
Luce is
Wolfrin?
gonna be right behind you.
You don't know where I am, actually. I was hiding.
Yeah, I put you back.
You are blind.
Yeah, you're blind.
Wolfrin, do you see? Okay, cool. All right, sorry. Where were you moving? Okay, you go out the window? All right.
Yeah, I unlock and go out the window.
All right. Like, move as much as you want in one turn. We'll just do, like, turn order.
Okay. Then, let's see, that's 5, 10, 15, 20. I don't know that you realize how much I can move.
Oh.
I can move like 90 feet.
Well, I think, like, maybe we could say like opening the window would have been an action if that would slow you down. I was thinking more like 30 feet ish. I don't know if you want to move.
Well,
that.
either way, if you take my bonus action or my action, I can dash and get to 60 feet because I have cunning action.
Okay. You can do that, I suppose, if you want.
Okay. So that's 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. I guess 60 to see in here? But I can't get in any of these windows, so that'd be the furthest I could go.
Okay. Do you see anything yet? I can't tell what you can see.
Let me see if I would have seen anything on any of these. I don't think so.
You would see a token. Like you would.
I can see some tokens, but I can't see. I can only see the tokens in this room.
It's outside. The token's outside.
It's out. Oh, I could see Myrkrið.
Okay. Okay. So
Hold on.
That's
I just barely. The entire trip I would only see Myrkrið. Oh nope, never mind. Right here I would see something.
Yeah, you get a glance through the window
as I'm going, and so I would still end up here. But I saw that at least. Oh no, wait. Was it here? No, it was here.
And you rolled really well on perception too, right?
Yeah. I got a 24 if you wanted to count my die.
Yeah. So what you see as you're running by that window, you like look, and you see through the window to the other side, the other side of that room. Maybe you're like,
would you want me to just stop there?
If that's 60 feet, then yeah.
It's less than 60 feet. This is like,
oh, you don't have to stop it at that window or anything.
Okay.
I'm just saying like as you're running by it.
Got it.
You see across the window, you see Myrkrið, like leaning down, like crouching down, and you see blood. Myrkrid's looking around, looking around.
And I make an insight check as I was running?
Yeah, sure. I'll allow it.
To like figure out what it looks like he's doing? Like I kind of want to figure out if it looks like he is like looking for witnesses or if he's looking around confused what happened here.
He seems a little confused.
Okay.
Sorry, private messages. Okay.
You're fine.
So you get there, you see that through the window, you see him like he's probably standing up when you pass the window. He's probably like standing up. He was just like looking at the body that you see there. You do see blood on the ground too. Yeah, and he's like looking around like confused. Maybe for witnesses, but probably looks a little confused. Okay. Everyone else, what are you doing? Everyone else can take a turn.
Quartz is gonna look at the Bodhisattva and ask them, "Did you guys hear that?"
Yeah. Let me roll for their perception here, which would probably be decent. Okay. Well. Okay. Somebody. I mean, Rifa heard it for sure. Nurnham goes, "Hear what?" and Uberma says maybe it sounds like a scream. Rifa points, like follow. The points to where Candor went and is like follow. Some things, there's trouble. basically.
I guess I'll follow Rifa if he decides to follow.
Yeah, Nurnham is like recovering from Aurelius trying to stab him with the spear and all that weirdness, and it's just like he's a little bit off kilter. All right, where are you guys going? Take a turn.
Well, does Rifa move? It is just point and then that's it.
I mean, I was gonna allow you guys to go first if you wanted to.
I'm still blinded.
But yeah, he's you're not blinded anymore. The thing is put away. Yeah, he's gonna start moving. Yeah, Rifa is gonna move.
I'm just gonna follow him.
Okay. All right. Rifa moves to the window. Wait. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. Steps through the window. I'm going to count that as 2 spaces because climbing. Difficult terrain or whatever. Yeah, he makes it right to the other side of the window, but you can still see him. Uberma will do the same. 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. I'll put him near this tree. Nurnham will follow after them. 5, 10, 15, 25. That's as far as he can go. You guys can go through them if you like. Nurnham can make it to the window.
Just for everybody's like knowledge, I am wearing boots of Elvenkind as well, so I make no sound walking.
Right on. Are you still stealthed?
Yes.
All right. Myrkrið, roll. You rolled your perception already, actually. Yeah, you wouldn't see him, Myrkrið. You wouldn't have any idea because he rolled like a 30-something on stealth. Okay. Abe and Flo, Ferdy.
They don't know what's going on, so they go underneath the table and cast invisibility.
Okay. All right. You cast invisibility on yourself. You become ninja. Turn invisible. Okay. Let's start back with you, Candor. What are you doing?
I mean, I move up. Yeah, I mean, I would probably stop here for now because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you come around the corner and you're like staying just out of sight. Myrkrið hasn't seen you yet, but as you like peek around the corner, you see him like standing up from this body on the ground. There's a body of a man. He's wearing armor. Well, he was. And he had a sword, like just a basic like iron longsword laying beside him. And there's blood all over the place. The man's entrails are spilled out. And he has like this look of horror on his face. Myrkrið, who's standing up from the body, has blood on his hands, on his clothes. And again, he's looking around with this like panicked look on his face. But again, he hasn't spotted you yet. Everyone else, I guess the Bodhisattvas will continue closing the gap. 5, 10, 15, 25, 30.
Are there
10,
other
15,
people coming to windows to look?
Yeah. There's like these people in here would definitely be going to the windows. I mean, I won't take the time to turn them all around.
Yeah, that's
facing the window, but they would. I'm sure the people in the kitchen would do the same, like go to some different windows here. Like you probably have a couple people watching there. I don't think it's even 30 feet for them. This person would probably be taking a step that direction. Probably Tixa would too. I think that might be all the folks I got right now.
Myrkrið just scans the people looking out through the windows and then looks back down at the body.
Yeah, like as you like turn, you see these people piling up at the windows. You can hear some of the people on the other side of the glass saying, what? He just killed that man. Is that man dead? That shouldn't, what? How? Like they're so confused. Like there's like another lady that screams as she like comes up to the window and sees the blood in the body. Yeah, people are starting to freak out a bit here.
May I continue to make insight checks to be more sure that he is not guilty?
Yeah, sure. Make another insight check.
Okay. That's not great. Side bolstered.
Okay. It's a 9.
21.
21. He's got blood on him. But he could have just been like inspecting the body. Like maybe he also would have had to get there really fast, but it's possible he was just a lot closer than you.
Right.
But he doesn't, like, the look on his face is that he's genuinely confused as to what has happened.
Right, and he's not running, so.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to use this particular class feat.
Recovery. You can regain 1 expended psionic energy die. Okay. But you can't do so again until you short or long rest. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, so it just gives me an extra die, basically.
Yeah. Let me move Nurnham, and then I'll give these other folks a chance to go. 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. He would have had to go through the window. So 10, 15, 20. Wait. 10, 15, 25, 30. There we go. That way he doesn't go through the tree trunk. All right. Lucero, Quartz, Abe, what are you doing?
Following. 5, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Okay.
And I'll just be by the window.
All right. Lucero?
Lucero is activating Blade Song,
All right.
then going to run after the others. So 5, 10, 15, 20,
For context, Lucero now knows someone is
5,
dead because I told them over the whisper.
Okay.
30, 35, 40. I use my action to run too.
Sure.
5, 50,
Wait.
Dash is a thing.
Blade Song bonus action?
60, 65,
Oh, I'll dash too.
70, 75, 80. Yes.
20, 25, 30.
Okay. If no one else has anything, Myrkrið, what do you do?
So he's looking at the people inside, and I would imagine you can kind of hear him. He's got pretty good hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not wearing boots.
They're most of them are like, oh, this he killed him. Like there's people like he must have killed him. Look, he's got his blood on him. The flesh is
Somebody please think of the children.
the flesh is the flesh is killing people in heaven. Someone call guards, call someone. Like they're freaking out in there. There's people yelling and all that stuff.
If I look up, do I see anything?
You probably see Lucero because Lucero is not stealthed. However,
No,
Candor.
I mean,
I think he means
like
up.
straight up. Yeah. Like in the air. Towards the tops of the buildings.
No, there's just like a roof. This building is like a guard tower kind of. It has like stairs inside that go up to the top, but there's nobody in there. There's nothing that would like block you, no fences or anything from going either direction. The building is one story, so it would just be like a shingled roof probably.
I think Myrkrið is just he looks around a bit, looks at the blood on his hands, wipes it on his trousers, and just looks down and is like waiting.
All right. Well, if he's going to stand there and wait, I suppose you all can just approach and do whatever you like. Looks like Candor and Lucero are getting there first. What are you all doing?
I will maintain hidden status.
All right, Lucero?
Lucero is going to come on out to investigate. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. They're definitely pulling their Warhammer out, though.
I am readying my psychic blades.
Not threateningly, but more like if something's going down, I want my weapon on me. What happened?
He looks hurt.
I think he's a bit more than hurt.
Quartz, Abe?
I'll start dashing towards the group.
Okay.
Still behind.
All right.
I thought you people don't die here.
We don't usually.
Well, is he hurt or is he dead?
Can I have like Lucero go and step up and check them?
Yeah, well, what do you do about Myrkrið being right there? If you lean down and check the body, you're going to be leaving yourself pretty open to an attack.
Gotta trust. Would it be medicine?
Yeah. He's very dead. His organs are spilled out all over the ground. Yeah, a lot of blood loss. Something slashed his chest and stomach open several times.
With that high of a roll, can I tell most likely what kind of weapon did it?
It's hard to say. It's violent. Like it's, you might have to make an investigation check.
Okay.
May I help since I am proficient and whispered?
Sure. Give
Okay.
you advantage on the roll.
Is Candor
dang it.
himself? No.
He's whispering psychically into Lucero's mind, I think, is what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh.
Basically, Lucero's like sending me stuff, and I'm sending back like ideas.
Oh, okay.
Would be the idea behind like just a simple help action.
Okay. 17. Clearly something sharp. Hard to say if it was like a sword or a claw or what, but definitely something sharp eviscerated this guy, disemboweled him. Cut through the armor. It was violent too. Like it almost looks like it could even be like a scary animal attack. It would have to be a very big bear or like something really scary, like probably even scarier than a bear. But something like disemboweled this guy. There's so much damage that it's hard to tell if it was like a clean cut, like with a sword. Like even part of his armor is ripped apart and stuff. But yeah, he died from blood loss. There's no tracks leaving the scene. The only blood evidence is like on the ground and on Myrkrið. There's a little bit like splashed around. Like maybe even some of the like training dummies have a little bit of blood splatter on them. Yeah, and the guy like looking at the body seems to have been initially attacked from behind, spun around, and then disemboweled. Like there's probably some cuts and stabs in his back also. Yeah. There's no the other thing you would notice just at glance is there's no like again, there's no evidence of anyone leaving the scene. No footprints. Nothing like that. The only tracks you would see are Myrkrid's, which probably come from around this way, go into this tower thing here, this little guard tower, and back out to the body. There's tracks from this guy's boots, sort of all around this area. Like, and there's also fresh marks from cuts on the dummies that don't seem to line up with the cuts on himself, but do match with the sword that he's that's laying on the ground by his body. Myrkrith himself is not wounded. He's just got blood on him. Yeah, if you got any other questions about like investigation, like in particular, like if you see X thing, let me know.
Yeah.
All right, I think we can take it out of like turn order and just like let you guys like act freely. If you've got stuff you want to do, I think the Bodhisattva definitely are going to approach and ask what's happened here. And they're shocked that there's a dead body. Yeah, people shouldn't be able to be killed like this. What are you all doing? Myrkrith said, I thought you couldn't die here, and you said, yeah, you're not supposed to be able to. You check the body and look at the surrounding area. What's happening now? The people inside are like freaking out. Like, somebody do something, arrest him, put him in chains. This ambassador is a traitor. The flesh has attacked heaven. Someone, alert.
Are the windows open?
They're not opening the windows. No, they're like yelling from inside.
Can we hear them from outside?
Yeah, I mean, they're right next to the window. It's not like it's like perfectly sealed or anything. They're just like afraid to open them. Like, you can hear them.
Can I go towards this window and ask this person directly in front, across on the other side, what they saw?
Yeah, you like knock on the window. He opens it. He says, heard a scream, came running to the window and saw him standing over the body covered in blood.
So you didn't actually see what happened?
I came as soon as I heard the scream. I didn't see him do it, but I don't see anyone else there. He was looking around, worried that there might be witnesses.
I mean, wouldn't he have just fled? He doesn't look like he's in a rush to run away.
He says, well, he's protected by the Bodhisattva ambassador, right? Maybe he can't be charged with anything, or he can't be arrested. Maybe he has some protection here, or maybe he's going to kill the rest of us.
Why don't you keep your speculations to yourself? We'll try to get to the bottom of this.
May I use my apparatus?
Sure. What are you gonna do?
I would like to cast darkness in the room because Lucero is getting annoyed by their yelling.
I was gonna do something else.
Yeah,
okay.
You're casting darkness in which room? There's 3 of them.
They're yelling from different directions.
Yeah.
Which one's making the most annoyance?
Well, this one has the most people in it, so probably this one.
This one then.
Yeah, this one where Quartz is at.
I need to roll Arcana. I have to. The darkness is a second level, I think.
Link the spell. You should be able to click.
Darkness is 2nd level.
So I need to roll a 14.
Yeah, link the darkness spell. I think you can just cast it.
No, she doesn't have that on her spell list.
Oh, okay. I see.
She's using the apparatus to cast it.
Gotcha.
10 plus the spell level, isn't it? So 13.
It's 10 plus times 2 of the spell level.
Oh, right, 16.
How do I
Yeah,
do?
14 because darkness is level 2, isn't it?
It's an
Oh yeah, I was thinking it was 3. I don't know why.
It's an Arcana check. You should just be able to click Arcana on your sheet.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to figure out how to show the spell.
If you go to your spell page, there should be like a chat bubble thing, I think.
Well, not if you don't have the spell.
Oh, I see.
Here. I have the spell.
I see.
Thank you.
It makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah. But I made it, so.
Yeah.
All right, so you cast darkness in this room, 15-foot radius sphere. Do you know the exact square you want to cast it on?
Mainly like the windows and stuff. She's tired of people looking in and making noise and stuff.
So are you like casting it here?
Just inside the windows.
So like right here.
Yeah.
So like it stops at the window.
Yeah.
I assume.
Okay, so I'll put it.
I don't want to get Quartz.
Okay, so I'll put it like 15.
Well, I'm outside the window.
15 foot in, so I'll put it like right there because that would be like your line of sight. Here, I'll draw a shape for that.
While that's happening, Myrkrið just kind of steps across one of the outstretched arms and walks over towards.
Uberma takes a step back. From you. Like kind of fearfully a little bit.
Myrkrið just says, I thought you said people can't die here.
They shouldn't be able to.
I mean,
Insight on Uberma.
Sure. Okay. He seems to be telling the truth. What other information are you trying to get? He also seems uneasy, like, almost, there's like an air of disappointment, and surprise. Like, he did not think Myrkrið was capable of this at all. And he seems kind of...
Okay, actually, that gives me what I was looking for.
Yeah. Like, there's also, yeah, he's like afraid he was wrong about him, I think. Let me fix, it doesn't, I can see it. Let me...
oh, maybe I just can't see it.
May I roll as well?
Sure. He seems like he might be a little bit ill.
The dice don't like me tonight.
Yeah.
Is this door open?
Which door? This door? Yeah.
The door to the tower. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely open.
This is the first time someone's died.
Let me make sure that the dynamic lighting... well,
Yeah, it's not going through.
No, you can't see it.
let me fix that. There? You should be able to see in there now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see stairs.
So Abe and Flo will just go inside, try to investigate this.
Yeah. You go inside.
Reminder, they are invisible.
Correct.
Yeah. You go inside. It's empty. There's nobody in there. There's some stairs that lead up, like to the roof of it. It probably goes up like a couple stories, like 2 stories. I would imagine the guard tower would be like higher than the building itself, so you can see more. Yeah, you walk in. There's nobody there. There's no blood, no tracks, like because it's stone. I'm assuming you start to climb the stairs.
Yeah, and I try to see from like the roof of this place
Of the tower.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you climb up to the roof of the tower. You look around. Again, there's nobody up there. You look across the like the mansion roofs. You don't see anything there either. Make a perception check.
Can I do an investigation
Sure.
just to see if there's anything like uneven?
All right. 27. So there's no roof tiles out of whack or anything. It doesn't look like anybody's been walking on the roof. Looking around like the surrounding like field or like forest area, you don't see any signs of anything like running away, or tracks, or anything like that. You don't see scratches on trees or anything. There's no sign of what could have done this.
Okay. I'll just wait up here and then listen to the conversation below.
Sure.
Real quick, when I did the investigation earlier, the tracks didn't line up with the attack near Chris, right?
What do you mean?
His footprints.
The only footprints was Myrkrið and the guy who was dead. And your own.
Right, but did they line up?
Well, like Myrkrid's tracks came in from this direction. They went into this building. Then they came back out to where the dead body was, like where you saw him standing. Do they line up? Like, does it look like there was a struggle between the two of them?
Right.
You rolled pretty high. It's hard to actually you rolled a 17. It's hard to say. Like the problem is that most of the tracks, like right around the body, are kind of mixed in with the dead guy's own tracks because he was like training on all these different dummies. He was clearly like hitting them with his sword. So like the tracks immediately around him are just like smudged by hundreds of his tracks. He's been sitting here training all day while y'all have been inside talking. While you were inside talking about letters from True Resurrection, he was studying the blade. So. Yeah, his tracks are just like all over within like 5 feet of where his dead body is. It's just like smudges of all his tracks. It's hard to say. Like
There's no way to tell whose or what.
Not with a 17.
So Myrkrið had asked if this was the first person to die. To Ubermaw.
Ubermaw nods hesitantly. He says, first in a long time. First not killed by death itself. Click, click, click.
What does that mean for the rest of us?
Ubermaw says, did you do something, not realizing it would kill him, perhaps?
No.
What did you see? You were the first one here, yes?
So.
What happened?
Ground.
Rifa is like Rifa's like watching you. He's got his hands sort of tucked behind his back, like one wrist clasped with the other hand, and he's sort of just like walking around the area kind of this way. Like he probably makes it to like he's probably like walking in a circle around you like this. Probably makes it to like right here. He's doing it slowly and he's like facing you the whole time. Nurnham is doing the same. And gets like right there.
I'd like to use my rope of climbing to get up on top of this building.
Okay. You gonna like tie it a knot and like throw it up over something it'll catch on and then climb up it?
I don't need to. It actually animates itself.
Oh, okay, right on. Well, link the description so we can see.
Yes, let me see. Did I copy the whole thing in here? Rope of climbing. I did. How do I put this out there? Maybe that. Uno momento, por favor. Yeah, I may just have to copy and paste. Oh, well.
What was it called?
Here it is.
This weighs 3 pounds, 3,000 pound cake, holo, another rope, blah, blah, blah. Destination you choose. Moves it 10 feet on your turn when you first command. Yeah. I think it'd be 10 feet's enough for it to get up to the top of the first story and you can climb up it. Sure. Do you have half movement climbing? Unless you have a climbing speed, I think you do. But you also have like 90 feet of movement, so it'd take an
Yeah, if I dash. Although, yeah, I would have 60 feet because I use a bonus action to do that.
Yeah. Take an action to speak the command word to get the rope to activate, and then you have
bonus action. Yeah.
Well, it says in the description it takes an action, right? You hold,
No, it says bonus
Oh, it's
action.
bonus action.
you hold one end of the rope and use an action to
Oh, an action and a bonus action. Okay, never mind. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So you still have movement then, I guess. And cunning action.
Yeah. No, because then I use bonus action to command it to move up.
Oh, okay.
That's why we were saying bonus action, because there's also a bonus action you have to use.
Okay.
It's only 10 feet. It should start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
you
I'd
still
have
have
it's half speed, I have 15 feet, so it doesn't. Yeah.
Okay, so you climb up onto the roof. All right.
So yeah, I'm just gonna go. I don't know how you want to
Notice
quite
this, 'cause
do
I'm fixing
that.
it anyway.
Yeah, I don't have a screen for the roof. It's fine.
Yeah,
know-
we'll pretend I'm there.
Yeah, you can actually move into that square. It's fine.
Well, I can't see anything if I do.
Oh. Maybe now it's fine to take off dynamic lighting. We don't need it anymore. This is what I needed it for, so I can just turn it off. Here, dynamic lighting off. Boom. Okay. Now you can just climb up onto the roof, move into that square if you want. And I'll put like
My thing is not. It's not moving. Oh, there's a wall there. That's why.
I'll put the wing marker on you so we know you're elevated, and I'll put 10 in your red circle because that's how many feet up you are.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know that you would see me. I mean, I would think that you would. Yes, I would try.
Well, he has.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He has that thing where he doesn't have to have full cover in order to be stealthed too. He only needs.
Yeah, but I mean, I assume it would give him another chance to see me, though.
Yeah. Okay. Make a stealth check.
That's fine. I was just curious.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you guys doing?
Can I look at the body to see if it's someone that I recognize?
Yeah. History check, I guess, unless you can think of something else that would apply here. Okay.
Wow.
Whoa.
You do recognize
19.
the guy. He's a servant for. Let me see here. He's a warrior for the chariot.
Do I know if he has like a close associate that's also at the party, or does he have a name?
Yeah, his name is Baglo. Baglo. Or Boglo, however you want to pronounce it. And nobody you've met here, any of his known associates. He typically runs with people from the chariot and also the emperor. And you haven't really seen anybody from those Arcana at the party. Let me see here. Who else might he keep in touch with? He does also run in circles with some of the folks from Justice, and you saw one of the people inside you saw was with Justice. One of the women you spoke to inside.
What is Alpha doing?
What is
the other three? The Bodhisattva.
They've surrounded him they've surrounded Myrkrið in sort of Ubermaw less so, but definitely Rifa and Nurnham, almost like they're flanking him. They're like, in case we need to wrestle him to the ground, we're gonna come at him from all sides. And Nurnham and Rifa are exchanging looks like, yeah, we were arguing 10 seconds ago, but we're both about to fight this guy probably. And Uberma is not like putting off that kind of energy at all. Like he's more just trying to talk to Myrkrið and see what's going on. That's what they're doing.
With Quartz's idea, I'd like to use my apparatus again to attempt to use the invisibility.
To attempt to use invisibility?
See invisibility.
See invisibility, okay. I guess Arcana check. See invisibility 2nd level, so DC's 14.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you can cast see invisibility.
Oh wait, couldn't you cast that no matter what since your Arcana is plus 14?
I still have to roll.
I mean, yeah, but still.
Yeah.
I guess it's possible you roll a crit failure, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 2nd level and below is pretty much auto success as long as I don't roll a 1.
Okay. So you suddenly see an invisible Abe and Flo nearby.
Yep, they're walking towards the body.
Yeah. You don't see anyone else. Like there's no one else hanging out nearby, like looking around. You don't see, there's nothing else that's revealed to you.
Okay. Weird rules question.
Yeah.
If I transmit what I see, obviously that doesn't, like, Luce can't see, like, through my eyes with see invisibility.
I wouldn't think so. You're transmitting a mental image of what you
that's
see.
what I thought.
Yeah. Abe and Flo will take out a pendulum, and then they're gonna point it at the body and ask if this was caused by magic. So, I don't know if I could do an Arcana check to see.
Are you asking this out loud? Can we hear you?
Yeah,
He
you
doesn't have full voices.
So you're doing your fortune teller pendulum thing, but
Correct.
But what you're trying to do mechanically is like actually make an Arcana check to see if magic was used near the body.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Make an Arcana check.
Well, begin was correct.
Yeah. 29. There was magic used in the area recently. Yes.
Mm.
Let me see here. It was necromancy.
When I sense this.
Hold on. There's more.
Okay.
There's also, so the necromancy is coming from like the immediate area around the body.
Mm-hmm.
There's also illusion magic over the entire area. Like the entire building, the entire site.
Currently active?
Yeah. Like the whole party.
Okay. I immediately drop my invisibility and tell everybody necromancy is involved in this murder.
All right, you drop your invisibility. Okay.
Everybody but Luce probably jumps.
Nah, you told me where they were.
I mean, like in the immediate vicinity.
Yeah, everyone's kind of like taken aback a little bit. Like, oh, you're there suddenly. Okay.
I was investigating the body. Seems that There's somebody suspicious.
There is somebody suspicious indeed.
Other than that, I've noticed that there's illusion magic with this mansion. Is that a thing that you are all aware of?
Who are you asking? The Bodhisattvas?
Yeah, the Bodhisattvas.
They all check. Let's roll some dice. We'll roll a d20.
While we're doing that, can I actually also check and see if there's any psychic abilities affecting the area?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Sure. DC is 30.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It's
what, like, investigation?
I'm sorry. The DC. Were you gonna check with Arcana or like I think for psychic ability?
That's the thing. I don't know that psychic would count as Arcana because it's not magic.
It's fair. How would you tell? Intelligence maybe?
Intelligence, wisdom. I have investigation or perception.
I'll allow either of those. The DC is not 30, it's 25.
Okay.
It's a critical fail.
Oh.
Yeah, and I can't inspiration.
There we go.
Okay.
26.
With inspiration, I don't know if
You have to roll.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Yeah, I can re-roll if you want.
I think you have to just re-roll it. I don't think you can just like.
Yeah, that's fine.
There was a 26 there. I'll just use my inspiration and take that 26.
No, I kind of meant to like re-roll.
yeah, re-roll. 17. It's better.
Okay, and I have proficiency in that, so.
Oh, you can.
20, 24. No.
Oh.
Yes. No. Wait.
23.
23. Yes.
You're not sure. You're close to the DC. Okay. You're not sure. You think maybe
didn't get me over.
You pick up traces of it, but it's hard to say. The problem is you're getting interference. And you're probably aware that interference is coming from the Bodhisattvas.
Oh shoot.
Lucero is going to look at the diviner and go, are you able to pick up how strong the illusion is?
Wait, which diviner are you talking to?
You.
Oh. Okay. Let me
did roll a 29.
Focus on that more. All right,
you don't have to roll again. I think with a 29, with a 29, you know. It is a very strong illusion spell. Let me see here. I think. Let me find the exact spell.
Then I'll try to dispel it.
I've got up to 7th level.
I don't think it can go higher than 7th. I think 7th is like the highest level illusion spell there is. Mage. Wait. Yeah. I think it's 7th. I think it's 7th level, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to check and find, but I can't find it.
Don't want to use my 7th level if I don't have to, though. That's why I'm trying to see what level it is.
Why do I not have 5e tools? My brain, I didn't have it. I usually have it open when I start session.
Luce, do you want to see if you can maybe try and read surface thoughts on the Bodhisattvas?
Here we go.
each one, though. I can only do one at a time. And I only get one free one a day.
Yeah. It's a good question.
So here's what I'll tell you. With your Arcana check, Abe, it's above 5th level.
Okay.
And
then it
Well-
is it in like the whole mansion itself, or is it part of the mansion?
it's the entire area. It's the whole mansion, the area around it.
Okay. Can I try to dispel it
You
with
can.
a level 3?
You can
You
try.
have to match its level or higher, though.
The DC equals 10 plus the spell level.
You can roll for it, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can. You
Have
can
to
roll for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Take a bardic inspiration.
Okay. And then what do I roll? Is it just intelligent? Oh wait.
Any spell 4th level or higher, make an ability check using your spellcasting ability.
Okay.
DC equals 10 plus the spell's level.
Okay. 10. The spell's level is
Plus 1d8.
Roll a d8.
There we go.
You rolled an 8, so you rolled a 24. Okay. So the spell's level was 7.
Damn.
Okay. Hi.
You dispel it. So here's what happens. You cast a spell. It's instantaneous. So everything in the area changes.
Oh gosh.
I
Everything
certainly hope I don't fall.
everything in the surroundings changes. Let's see here. We hear an audible scream. If I can do it correctly with the noise sounder. There we go. It worked that time. Okay.
Doesn't sound familiar at all.
Yeah, it's the sound we used in Broken. Here, let me change show you what happens here.
God.
Boom.
Death.
The area changes to night.
Oh!
Woof. I am.
Candor, you're fine. You're lucky to be standing on the part of the roof that is still intact. However, all the people inside the building are dead. They're no longer standing at the windows panicking. They're all dead bodies laying on the ground.
Oh.
So I'm just gonna
Would we
delete
see the dead
every
bodies if they're laying in there?
do what?
Do the windows go all the way to the floor? Would we see the bodies?
Yeah, you might not. That's fair. You might not see the bodies immediately, but there's lots of blood that you might see smeared on the
Yeah.
walls. Because the whole building has been ransacked. Like, that's what you see. What you see is what the map looks like now. And there's like, instead of people being at the party, there's now just like corpses and blood everywhere. It's like an obvious like ransack. Like that part of the wall below Candor is like blown out. Like it was hit by some kind of bomb or explosion.
Yeah.
It's just chaos. It's just madness. Like it's pure madness. Yeah, I think maybe let me get rid of this one lady that's still standing there for some reason.
Oh, I thought she was the
One lone survivor.
And no, there's no survivors. And yeah, I think maybe this is a good note to end the session on. Where unless
Is it really?
I can't think of a better kind of like cliffhanger ending. Now
Yeah, that's a good.
We do have like we're not overtime. I know some of you do like to leave early, but if you want to keep going,
I mostly joke.
If you want to keep going for a couple minutes, I'm down to do it. I just can't, like, it might not be as good of a cliffhanger ending as we have here.
No, I think that's
think it's
okay. I'm just annoyed, salty.
Hey, you didn't follow the hole. Be happy.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, you were 1 square away from taking a 10-foot fall. So
Good thing I have flight.
Yeah,
as
fair
a spell.
enough. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't he be able to touch it if it was an illusion?
Depends on the illusion that was cast.
Correct.
Yeah.
Some
Real
illusions, while they're up, you believe that they're real and you can touch things. Especially also depending on whether you special, because there's a
Yeah, the illusion specialist is really powerful like that.
There are some illusion spells where not only can you alter the appearance of structures, but you can add structures and change them.
Yeah, and the illusionary specialist wizard actually does get the ability to make illusions real for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. But you're fine. Okay. Well, if you guys want to leave off here, we can do that. If you're down to do that. I think
Do we
good...
want to? No.
No.
Should we? Yes.
it's a good cliffhanger.
It's good for
ending.
the story. Yes.
Well, in that case, thank you guys for playing today. And thank you guys for watching. I guess this is this part where I'm supposed to do like shout outs and stuff. I'll try to get back into the rhythm of doing these things. So, up first, if you want to find me around the internets, on the socials, shitting on people on Twitter or whatever, all these links are in the description down below. But here's my link tree. It should have all the places I'm at there. It's easy. I don't have to say all the things. I can just give you one link. You can also jump into the Discord server. It is public. It is free. You can jump in, see the chaos memes that get posted, all that stuff. See some of the small talk going on. I know for Wednesday show they really love to post memes and GIFs the entire episode of like what's happening. So you can literally like go back and look at all the GIFs and kind of piece together what happened in the episode. And that's in the Chaos channel that's open to the public, so you guys can jump in there and see that good stuff. You can also check out the artist who made the art for Vash, who Wolfrin plays in another arc of this show, at this website here, deviantart.com/JessicaPreguerrero. You can go check that out there. I think, is that all the shout outs I have for this show?
Shout outs to Ella Hoshi, who has made the V magic mirrors for both Mori and I.
Yeah, for both Lucero and for Abe Flo.
Correct.
Cool. Is there like
and Kyo for making my character art?
Kyo, do you have a link? Do you have a link?
I don't.
You should get one. You should get a link I can send, because you do good art all the time. Both of you do. Does Ella have a link? I can't remember.
I'll try to make one.
It's been a little.
I'll
while.
ask Ella.
I know last time I talked to Ella,
She's
she was
probably
like,
in Japan right now. Or something.
yeah,
They haven't left yet.
She was
Oh,
like,
they haven't left.
when I talked to her before, she was like, you can
Next week.
take my links off, but
What?
here's what I had for Ella. I will post it. Here's that. And Ella was doing the some voiceover work for Bender's Brew podcast. I know that, so you can check that out here. Yeah, there's that stuff. I always feel like I'm missing something. Did you guys have fun today?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
We can do experience.
We can do experience.
Oh,
We
yeah,
lost Wolfrin
experience.
already.
We did. He had to go.
Oh, okay.
You can ping
Okay,
them about
okay,
it
okay.
later, though.
Yeah.
All right. So, experience. There's no combat today, but Let me pull up my categories here.
I mean, almost.
I don't know. I kind of got beaten to shit.
You did kind of. I tell you what, I'll give you. I'll count that as like
Decided combat.
It's not quite like a challenge
Survive.
combat, but I'll give you a point for it.
Yeah, we survived at least.
Yeah, I'll give you all 1 point for that.
I'm fine with this.
For surviving.
Lump
the
in
ooze.
that and the like almost combat that happened at the end.
Yeah. I'll also give you guys 3 XP for RP. I think you guys did good with RP today. Lore quest stuff. I mean, I think there was more to be discovered there. There was definitely more that I had planned on potentially going into with Nurnham and Rifa should more questions have come up. We just didn't ever really get to any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you 2 for the lore quest stuff. Rule of cool, I'll give you guys 3 for. I think you guys did some cool stuff today with just like some
I
of the
almost
different-
fell down a building.
Yeah, you almost fell down a building. You climbed. You guys were using your abilities pretty well as far as like dispelling the magic, investigating the area, all that kind of stuff. I think you guys did pretty all right with that. So that should put you at 4, 6, 7.
9.
Wait, 9. Yeah, you're right. My math is bad. Yeah, good session. Thanks for playing, guys.
Almost a 10th of a level. That's great.
Yeah. And thanks for watching, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, all the links are in the description down below. We'll be back next week with more Forest of Flesh, where this arc is just getting ready to kick off. So I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys got seatbelts on, because this is where we're gonna the ride really starts. So good luck, everybody. Yeah, everybody have a fantastic week. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Good night.
Bye.